Hello, my most amazing artists. Today, you're going to get a piece of paper and a pencil, and you're going to write your name. There's going to be a lot of other stuff on your table, but you always want to make sure to pick up a pencil and write your name. The first thing I do is always the same. I pick up a pencil and write my name and class code. Your class code is the first number or letter of your grade level, followed by the first letter of your teacher's last name. So we will go over our class code and write that with a pencil. The next thing I'm going to do is give my paper a big high five. I'm going to put my hand in the middle of that paper, making sure my wrist is still on the paper, and hold it down tightly on my paper as I trace lightly around it with my other hand. Now, if you need a buddy to help you trace your hand, absolutely have a buddy help you. You always want to start with pencil while you're tracing your hand because you wouldn't want to use a Sharpie and get it all over your hand. Sharpie markers are permanent, meaning they do not erase and they do not wash out of your clothes or your skin very easily. You want to make sure that you use pencil first and then a Sharpie. If you are done using your Sharpie, make sure to put the cap on it so they don't dry out. Sharpies are a super special thing we get to use only in art class usually, and you want to make sure we keep them nice. Now today, I'm going to have a pattern sheet on your paper. These patterns are called zentangles. A zentangle is any pattern, line, or shape that repeats again and again. It could be X's, it could be dots, it could be circles, squares, wiggly lines, squiggly lines, zigzags, whatever it is, it's just something that repeats again and again. So I'm going to fill my hand with a zentangle pattern. Again, zentangles are any lines, shapes, designs, or patterns that repeat. Now, to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to draw a few different lines, maybe a couple straight lines, a couple squiggly lines, to break up the space on my hand. Now I'm going to use a Sharpie marker and go over top of my pencil lines. You only get one piece of paper, so make sure you draw light with a pencil first before you trace over with Sharpie, because there's no such things as mistakes in art, just happy accidents. But if you do need to erase, you want to erase in the safety zone of the letter L of your hand. That means you hold down a letter L with your hand or your left hand, if that's a hand you don't write with, and erase with your other hand inside the safety zone so your paper doesn't crumple. Now I'm going to fill in each of those spaces that I made with a different design or pattern. I'm going to fill in each of those spaces, say one finger I'll do polka dots, maybe I'll do a sun, maybe I'll do shapes, maybe I'll do some ice cream cones. It could be anything as long as it repeats again and again. A zentangle can be anything that repeats. So ice cream cones could be a pattern as long as I have many of them. Hearts could be a pattern. Stars could be a pattern. Scales, fish scales could be a pattern. Squiggly lines could be a pattern. Water and waves could be a pattern. A series of, say, soccer balls or baseballs or any kind of sports could become a pattern. Any shapes, any letters, any numbers, you can make a pattern with any of those things. Just make sure you're doing your absolute best work today and no scribble scrabble allowed. Take your time to make this your best work because it's going to go up in a gallery art show in our school hallways. So you always want to make sure that you're doing your best work. I'm also going to sign my name inside the hand somewhere on there so people know that I made it when it is hanging in the hallway. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is color baby color. Today you're going to notice you only have one color on your table. That's called monochromatic. It's called monochromatic because mono means one and chromatic means color. So you are coloring with one color today. Now you'll notice you have a variety of different shades of the color, meaning some might be light purple, some might be dark, some might be crayons, some might be colored pencils, they might be markers. You can use all of them or just one of them, whatever you would like. You are going to be using the color of the table team that you sit at. That way, we remember what color table we sit at when we come to art next week. You'll remember, I colored my hand, say, purple. purple, so I must sit at purple team. Or I sit at the orange team and I colored my hand orange, and so forth. If you find that you have a broken pencil, you do have pencil sharpeners in your bin, but I don't want you to take the whole art class sharpening your pencil. So please make sure that if it's not really working and you're spending too much time sharpening, that you try to look for another pencil at your table team. I'm sure there's more that could work just fine. You want to use your time wisely. And don't scribble scrabble and hurry to finish. I will make you go back and color it in very nicely. You want to color thick and thirsty, not thin and wimpy, because that's not good. You want to make sure you're filling in all the white space and not doing any scribble scrabble where you can see through your coloring. You want to do some really nice coloring. Now notice I used markers on the parts that I wanted to show details. I used marker first to outline some of my designs or coloring my ice cream cones or my hearts because the markers are a lot darker and juicier than the crayons and colored pencils. They also color a lot slower. So I would highly recommend only doing details or certain little lines, designs, or patterns or small colorings with your markers and then go over top with your colored pencil or your crayons to color in the background lightly. When you're finished, make sure your name and class code was on the back as well as on the front inside the hand if you want. I will be cutting these out and hanging them up in the hallway, so please make sure that you do have your name on them. When you're finished, you're going to clean up your area and place your finished hand, drawing, and colored in your table team bin. When you are finished, you'll notice that we do something called the cleanup competition. That means that you clean your hands, you clean your area using an art wipe from your table team bin. You'll notice you have a bag labeled art wipes. Please only use one. You only need one just to clean your hands a little bit and say if you got marker on them by accident, and you can clean up your table just a little bit if you need to. But we're not doing anything too messy today, so we should be just fine. All right, awesome artists, I cannot wait to see all of our high fives all together at the school. All right, have fun creating.